The Boston Celtics and Damian Lillard rumors are heating up. So on today's show, we're going to discuss the latest reports around Dame to Beantown. And if you want Damian Lillard on the Boston Celtics, you got to do one thing for me. Manifest it. Go down below and hit that thumbs up icon like today's video. What's going on, Green Teamers? You're watching Celtics Today by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Tyler Smith. And on today's show, are we actually signing Damian Lillard? It feels like, per the latest reports that we have heard following the Celtics being on a short list of teams to have interest in Damian Lillard, who does have a torn Achilles right now. But the latest report that we've heard from a Celtics insider feels like there could be some real mutual interest between Boston and Dame. And here's what Adam Himmelsback of the Boston Globe had to say. He said, league sources said that the Celtics are among a group of teams that have shown early interest in signing the 9-time All-Star. A league source also made it clear that Lillard could have interest in Boston too, citing his respect for the organization and his long friendship with Jason Tatum. Now, Adam Himmelsback is one of the most tapped in and most well-renowned Celtics beat reporters out there. He works for one of the highest level publications in the entire city, and he's not publishing non-stories. He's not going out there and just throwing in that little blurb quote into his story if it was a complete nothing burger. No, this has real juice and real legs to it, and I'm interested to see how it all develops over the next couple of days as the Celtics are trying to kind of figure out their free agency stuff. The other teams that are interested in Lillard as well, the Warriors, they're trying to figure out their free agency stuff as well. So this is a very interesting situation considering Lillard won't even be on the floor in 25-26. And the teams that are interested, I was kind of reading up on the whole situation and trying to read in between the lines a little bit. Teams are trying to get Dame on this 2-year deal because he was waived and stretched by the Milwaukee Bucks, and in each of the next 5 seasons, the Bucks are crippling themselves for $22.5 million paid out to Damian Lillard in each of those years. So I am curious as to what kind of contract dollar amount on a new team that Damian Lillard would earn. I wonder if they could do something where he gets paid like a league vet minimum in 25-26, and then maybe goes up to like a mid-level exception contract in 26-27. Granted, he will be 36 years old, so who knows if he will deserve that type of money, plus the 22.5 that he'll be getting. But the focus for these teams that are interested in Damian Lillard right now is that they're trying to secure a 2-year deal, rehab him, get him in the building right now, embrace him, integrate himself into the team culture, and then 26-27 comes around, and he could be out there on the basketball court. And look, we know the Celtics are no strangers to an Achilles tendon injury as of late, as Jason Tatum will be recovering from his injury this next whole season. He's already been getting a bunch of work done in the Auerbach Center, spending his summer in Boston along with Jaylen Brown. The vibes are really, really great, all things considered, in the Celtics building this offseason. And the rehab collab, I'm calling it, would be absolutely insane. If they were documenting, the path of these guys' road to recoveries from the same exact injury suffered or in the same exact time frame, I think it would do numbers for sure. But it would be awesome to see these guys who were teammates and friends playing with Team USA multiple times to have this opportunity to embrace this challenge together. And this is a really damaging injury when it comes to your mental game as well. Tons of people think that Achilles injuries are death sentences in the NBA. So to have somebody else there, a Hall of Fame level talent, kind of going through it with you would honestly probably do benefits for the both of these two guys. Now, Mark J. Spears did kind of comment on the whole Dame situation. He was ranking his preferred list of destinations that he thinks most likely are to sign Damian Lillard. And he said this. He said, there's another guy right there in JT that Dame could rehab with in terms of the Achilles. They're good friends. If you think about it, 2 years from now, with that team, with Dame at point guard, they're a championship caliber team again. And that's where I push back a little bit. We don't know what type of player that Jason Tatum is going to come back from his Achilles injury, let alone a 36-year-old Damian Lillard coming back from an Achilles injury. There's no telling how high of a level he will be at the next time that he steps out there on the basketball court. But look, his reputation and his resume speaks for itself when it comes to what you're trying to get when he returns back in 26-27. Because look, the offensive numbers in Milwaukee this past year were really, really solid after maybe a lackluster first season that he spent with Giannis up in Milwaukee. He put up 25 points a game, 7 assists, 38% from 3. That is really good no matter how you shake it. And we know how Dame's got unlimited range. You look back to 22-23 when his last season in Portland, the guy's averaging 32 a game. Played less than 60. I think they got shut down when he really got frustrated with the direction of the organization. But this is 30 points, 7 assists. You can count on Damian Lillard getting that when he is healthy, but there's no guarantee that he's going to be healthy at this point. And Mark Spears did rank the Celtics as the number 5 destination for Damian Lillard, but to me, it kind of feels like it's the Celtics, it's the Heat, and it's the Golden State Warriors there in the driver's seat to get Damon for a couple different reasons, right? Like, Miami was the team that was hard pressed at pursuing him when the whole Bucks trade went down. Like, remember, it was the summer of Dame to Miami. It was never the summer of Dame to Milwaukee. So they were heavily pursuing him, and I'm sure, and it is reported that they do still have interest. The Warriors side of things. Dame's an Oakland guy. He's from the Bay Area, and I'm sure he, Steph, Draymond, Jimmy Butler, they're all good friends. He actually wanted to play with Jimmy when those Miami rumors were going down, so he did have that opportunity potentially in Golden State. And then the Celtics thing, get to rehab with Tatum, get to potentially be on a really, really good team down the line in 26-27, and who knows, maybe beyond. Dame ends up retiring with the next team that he signs with. But then you kind of think about it from the Celtics' point of view, and you're like, well, they have a point guard kind of moving up the depth chart a little bit this offseason, and that is Peyton Pritchard. And how awkward does this make it for PP when Lillard comes in, spending this year on the shelf, and then 26-27 comes around, and the presumption around the media and NBA league circles is that Dame's going to step into the starting point guard role. Well, Peyton Pritchard kind of is, I would assume, happened into his mind. He assumes he's going to be the starting point guard for years to come in Boston. So, if you bring in Dame, it just kind of creates a little bit of uncertainty as for Peyton Pritchard's long-term prospects and his role with this team. He just won 6th Man of the Year, and look, maybe those guys don't always translate into great long-term starters, but I think Pritchard has proven time and time again that he gets better every single season, and the next step up would be entering that starting lineup full-time. And in a gap year, I think we could see a 20-point-per-game season from Mr. Pritchard. He said this about the gap year coming up. He said, "We will put a good team together, a lot of competitors and people who will go out there and lay it on the line every night. And I believe people will elevate their game and have bigger roles, especially with JT being out, until he comes back, and they should take full advantage of it and be ready for those opportunities. We will compete." I feel like Peyton Pritchard is probably talking a little bit about himself in that quote there a little bit. Is he going to be the long-term starter? I wouldn't be mad at it, man. This is a guy who's been hungry every single place that he goes. Like, a 4-year starter at the University of Oregon. Comes into the league and not really given an opportunity for quite a while as a late first-round draft pick on an already really competitive team. And he was seeing spot minutes, really didn't get to much opportunity in the postseason early on in his career. And then each of the last 2 seasons, he has been an integral part to Boston's success. And the numbers don't jump out of the page as far as what he did in the Celtics championship season, but he has played an average of 81 games each of the past 2 seasons. 3 of the past 4 years, he's played 71 games or more. This is a guy who doesn't get hurt. He's an Iron Man, and he's going out there and doing whatever it takes to win. And that is his elite outside shot. 41% clip this season. And think about the volume he was doing it on. 7 threes a game. I think Zach LaVine was the only player who shot the 3 at that volume with a higher percentage this past year. And I actually have to fact check that. I find it hard to believe that Zach LaVine shot 41% from 3. But regardless, Pritchard, man, he was a sniper. He's got a limited range, got good feel for the game, and honestly has gotten bigger and improved as a defender. Just his overall size is going to limit him in that department. But I do think he's ready to take the reins as the starter for Boston. But if you bring in Dame, things get complicated a little bit. So if you had to choose for 26-27, not this upcoming season, pick in 26-27 the starting point guard of the Boston Celtics. If it's Damian Lillard, give me a Dame down below. If it's Peyton Pritchard and you think PP deserves it, give me a PP down in the comments section. We'll talk more Celtics free agency rumors in just a moment, but make sure you guys get hooked up with the good times and this shirt that's commemorating the 2024 Celtics championship runs. Got the caricatures of all the players that were contributing on that squad, and you can get it at this link right here. Oh, yeah, and it's half off. It was $38. Wait, more than half off? Are you serious? Kidding me? Oh, my goodness. Chatsports.com/champ sale. Get it at that link, which is in the comment section and description of today's video as well. Go get yourself a fresh Celtics 2024 champ shirt for the low today. All right, man. I think this is going to be the swan song a little bit with Al Horford here, as it seems like he's gone. It seems like Al Horford's last game as a Boston Celtic has already been in the books. Who knows, though? He could end up signing a 1-year deal with whatever new team that he decides to go to, and then coming back for one last ride with JT and the crew in 26-27. But I'm not so sure that that's even all that likely. All signs at this point point to Al Horford leaving the Boston Celtics in free agency. So I just want to take you guys through a timeline here of everything that we've heard basically ever since the moratorium opened back on Monday, June 30th. So Michael Scotto originally reported as Al Horford was set to hit unrestricted free agency and the Celtics were tied up with their financial books. It was going to already be very, very difficult in order for the Celtics to retain Horford this offseason. Scotto of Hoops Hype, who's had a monster summer with all the scoops this year, says that Horford receiving interest from the Celtics, the Warriors, the Knicks, the Nuggets, and the Cavs in free agency. Now, a couple of those teams you can kind of cross off the board already. Maybe you can cross off the Celtics, but you can cross off the Knicks, who signed Gershon Yabusele, as well as Jordan Clarkson. You can cross off the Nuggets, who traded for Jonas Valanciunas to back up Nikola Jokic. And then you can probably cross off the Cavs as well. They're a dark horse, but I'm not so sure that they're in the business of making an Al Horford deal. At this point, we haven't heard any buzz ever since that original report on Monday. But the Warriors, Celtics are still in the mix. And then we had heard that the Lakers were already were in talks as well. Mark Stein reported that Horford was, quote-unquote, the leading target for the Warriors. We eventually heard that Anthony Slater called him the preferred target of the Warriors. So, like, they're definitely getting aggressive when it comes to signing Al. And The Athletic then reported that Al Horford is under, quote-unquote, serious consideration by the Los Angeles Lakers. But then we move on to yesterday, and Brian Windhorst reported that, Horford was between Golden State, signing with the Lakers, or just straight up retiring. It didn't seem like Boston was kind of in the cards anymore, as they're already back over the second apron. I don't know what type of money they'd be able to free up in order to fit Horford back on their books. And with some of the money that some of these centers got in free agency, like Brook Lopez getting $9 million, Looney getting $8 million, Horford deserves $10 million if you're asking me. And then he's also said that Golden State is, quote unquote, very aggressive. Kind of the same thing that we've heard here, building more and more like Horford to Golden State is like the likeliest option. And then the Lakers went out there and signed DeAndre Ayton. And now they did say that a couple of reports came out and said that the Lakers are still interested in Al Horford, but I'm sure Al and his camp probably want as big of an opportunity as they could possibly get as a contributor. So it doesn't seem like he is that keen on the Lakers at this point. Then we move into later on Wednesday night, and the Ringer and Bill Simmons was on his podcast with Rob Mahoney, who knows some sources around the league. And he says Al to Golden State is, quote, treated as a foregone conclusion around the league right now. And Anthony Slater said his final report of the night, talking about the Jonathan Kuminga stuff from that end, but he closed it with Warriors are, quote, waiting on Al Horford's decision. So in conclusion, it's Golden State or retirement for Big Al. It does not look like he'll be wearing Celtic green in 25-26. Who knows? There's a outside pipe dream chance that he ends up playing for the Celtics for his final NBA season, maybe in 26-27, but I would not hold my breath on that. With that being said, this is a player who I have loved ever since he donned the Celtics jersey back in 2016, made us a free agency destination, won the championship, has been through the good, has been through the bad, and I'll love Al for life, man. If you ask me, he should have his jersey retired. Will he? I'm not so sure, but maybe retire it for him down in the comment section. Show some love. Type those 42s down for me. Show love to Al Horford. No bad blood whatsoever. I want Al to win another ring, and I want him to win all the rings. I want him to go to the Hall of Fame. Like, I love Al Horford, and best wishes to him in his next endeavor. That will do it for today's edition of Celtics Today by Chat Sports, and we're going to keep you locked in with whatever happens. If Al ends up signing with Golden State, we'll give you guys the news. And if anything happens with Boston making a trade or any other moves this summer, we're going to keep you guys locked in. So hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys all in the next one. And as always, let's go C's.